to listen in, because today we're going to discuss a very interesting topic, an interesting area of law. And this one, then let me have this disclaimer that we are in Shemwell Law School. Well, we're a specialized area. So I'm not that good in it like yourself. So we are going to really ask very simple questions, because we need to understand what we are talking about, right? So when you go to Facebook, the Law Chamber, it's there. You can like, share the page, Hope TV. It's linked. So when you go to the Law Chamber, to show you the programs and the TV station as well, so that you watch us. Today is a holiday. What are you up to? Home alone? Friends? Family? What are you up to? We are doing. We are here working, and work must go on. So this is a live show, as you already know. So if you have any questions at all, you know the number to send it to 0559 680066. 0559 680066. And also you go to Facebook, I'll come there and read all the questions that you have. So last week we had a very interesting topic. We discussed all the agreements generally one should have when they start a business. So we looked at shareholders agreement if you are dealing with a company. We also looked at employment contract. We looked at management service agreement, and we looked at confidentiality agreement. So today's topic is a little bit delving a little bit into what confidentiality agreement is all about. It's an aspect of it. So today's topic is simply doing business in Ghana, intellectual property, that's trademark and data protection. How do you protect your work? How do you protect your company? You have that wonderful idea, you have that wonderful company. How do you protect it so that someone else will not pick that same idea? That's what we're going to discuss today. And I have very intelligent people with me here to do, justice to this particular topic. I have with me lawyer Richard Duansa. He's a lecturer at UPSA Law School. You see UPSA or Law School? Richard?
That's right.
UPSA Selma Law School. How many years now?
We've been here since 2016.
Watch it.
Yeah, we have lawyers. We have produced lawyers already.
You're already competing.
That's
so
right.
at UPSA, he lectures in intellectual property law and company law. He lectures in intellectual property law. So you understand why he's here. He's also the president of Intellectual Property Network Ghana. And then he's a certified data protection supervisor for the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. When I saw this bit, what I asked myself was, Adventist Church, do we have such a person? As in certified data protection supervisor, someone to protect our data. Well, Presby is very lucky to have you.
Yes, we'll show you the way. We're happy to.
You show us the way.
We're happy to.
So when you talk about Intellectual Property Network Ghana, what are you into?
Basically, it's a network of intellectual property professionals. We started sometime 2013, 2014, and every year we try to raise awareness and do some sensitization activities as far as intellectual property is concerned. So it's open to anybody who has been trained, who has certification in IP, or who is interested. We have members who are certified or who have been trained in IP, and then we have associates, those who are only interested in IP but they don't have any certification.
So that's quite interesting. So when we are done with this topic and you're really interested in it, you can contact me. He's the president of that network. So by all means, he can teach you one or two things about how to join the association. And I also have with me lawyer Constantina Gogotaria. Taria. Tina, I got this right. Taria.
Yes, Taria.
Taria, yes. Because the Asantis, the tree, we go like Taria. She told me it's not usually, it's not Taria, it's Taria. Makani, yes. Yeah, you are wondering, Gonsentina, right? Ewamawa, no, that's like a Tina. Okay, so we go by Tina. Tina is a state attorney, and she's on secondment at Ghana Industrial Property Office. It's a unit under the Registrar General's Department, that's Ministry of Justice. And her idea, the whole idea is to protect people's innovation and creativity. So all the idea and all the creativity, it's their department's work to protect your work for you. So Ghana Industrial Property Office. Tina, can you people that? Which office is it and what do you do? Tell us a little bit about the office.
Okay, so the Ghana Industrial Property Office is a unit under the Registrar General's Department. At first, there used to be 4 units under the Registrar General's Department. Okay. First is what we now call the Office of the Registrar of Companies. So we used to have the units for business and company registration. And then we have administration of estates. We have celebration of marriage, and then the 4th one being industrial property. Okay. So, okay. 4 units.
So now you are 3.
Now it's left with 3 units under the Registrar General's Department.
So what does your office really do? Like,
our mandate as the Industrial Property Office is to protect or register intellectual property, mainly industrial property, because under intellectual property, there are 2 main branches, copyright and industrial property. And so our office is for industrial property. And when we say industrial property, some of the registrations that you can have there is trademarks, industrial design, patents, or utility models. We've added on geographical indications and plants variety, which will make a lot of information about it to the public very soon.
You're as confused as I am married to you. Hey, don't worry. We take it one step at a time. Okay, so just go with me, bear with me one step at a time. So now, let's delve into it. So when we talk about intellectual property, let's start from the basic, so that we also understand. Intellectual property, what is it?
They are ideas, innovation, creativity. Okay. Yes, mainly that's what intellectual property is about. So you have an idea, okay. In a way, you have to put it in a form that you can benefit from.
Okay. Okay,
so if I can go back and give you an example of a trademark under industrial property. When you have a trademark, maybe you may want to find out what a trademark is, but then I'm using this as an example. A trademark can be a sign, it can be a logo, it can be a name, it can be numbers, it can be a shape, or you can have a combination of that. And that is what you can use to sell your products or your goods and services. So it will enable you to identify your goods or services from the goods of other enterprise, your competitors.
Okay. Okay.
That is
so what makes me distinct from everyone else? Okay. So it means
in the marketplace.
So you are getting this. When you start your own company or you've started already, there's something you want to make you distinct, make you different from everyone else. And when that difference comes, you want to protect that difference. So that's where you come in. So let's still go through a bit. And
if I may just,
yes, please.
If I may just, so for instance, when you go to the market,
okay,
and you are going to buy a mobile phone,
okay.
These days, mobile phones, they share a lot of functions, common functions. So when you go, the reason why you choose a Samsung phone and not an maybe an Apple product or not Nokia, is a trademark. Because when you are going, actually you are going to buy a trademark. Oh, koto Samsung. Samsung is a trademark. Otherwise, they are all mobile phones. Same way you go to the markets like tomato sellers. There are a lot of tomato sellers, maybe onion sellers, bunch of onion sellers. But there is a sign that you say that I'm going to Anita. Anita is a registered trademark. So when you are going, you know you are going to buy onion, you know, but you are going with Anita in mind. So that's one of the functions of a trademark. It really distinguishes your goods and service, as was said, from the goods and same goods and service of other entities. So it's a very powerful tool in business. Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have types of do we have types?
Yes.
Do we have, okay, so educate us a bit.
We have types of trademarks. You can look at it from the way they appear. So you can have, for instance, a generic trademark. Generic trademarks, but those ones cannot be protected. So I'm giving you an example of furniture. We have furniture around us here. We are sitting on a chair and we have a table here which forms a furniture. If I want to register or protect my product, which is a chair, and I'm calling it a chair, that will not be accepted as a trademark because it is generic to that industry. Okay. And then you have descriptive marks. So when you come to the descriptive types, that one too is about the use of the mark which is in relation to the goods or the services that you are providing. So I'll once again give you an example of, let's say, water. So you want to register or trademark a mark for your production of water, and you are calling it water. So you can't use water for water. Okay, that would be descriptive.
Just when you came, water was there.
Exactly, and you cannot appropriate that for yourself alone because you have other competitors. That would not be fair for us to protect water for you alone.
Maybe I call it aqua water or something. I add a name to it. It becomes.
So per the Trademarks Act, if your mark is not in English, then you need to translate it. And once aqua, from what I know, means water, you are still repeating the good.
Oh, okay.
And so that will be descriptive. You cannot use aqua for water or aqua for
because aqua means water.
It means water.
And if I want to call my property maybe a name in Swahili, which means chair, it's not possible.
You are entitled to use any language, but then in the context of Ghana, you would have to give a transliteration or a translation of what in.
So it means the name will be in that language.
It has to be in English.
The name has to be in English.
Yes, it will be in the language, but then there is a portion on the form where you have to state what it means.
Okay.
And if the registrar is not satisfied with that, we may want to get a certified translation from the School of Translation or some other authorized institution to enable us examine it properly. Yes.
Oh.
Just a quick one on the aqua example. You know, so aqua is water. So you can sell water and register a trademark aqua, but then you know you can add some things to the aqua and still use aqua, which is why we have a number of products, Bell Aqua, this aqua, that aqua. Bell Aqua is
yes, but water. At the end of the day, you would have to disclaim.
Of course.
So if you have Bell Aqua, you have to disclaim the aqua.
The aqua. What does that mean?
Yes.
What does to disclaim?
It means that
aqua mean?
When you disclaim, it means that when some other persons competitors can also use the word aqua
okay.
because it belongs to that industry.
Oh, okay.
So it means you're not having monopoly
over
over
the aqua. There's the bell.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The bell and aqua together.
Together.
But then with respect to the aqua, you have to, it's part of the requirement. You have to disclaim that you are not, by registering Bell Aqua, you are not having monopoly over aqua, the use of aqua. So that if somebody else also uses an aqua, you cannot say that the person is infringing your trademark. Yeah.
Okay. So my producer is telling me something. I didn't hear him. I hope he repeats it. Because, so let's go to the next step. So now I have that unique trademark.
Yes.
How do I protect it? Can you take me through the steps?
The steps. Okay, so you have a mark. If it is coined, okay, and you are certain that, because you are in the market, remember this is marks that we are using to trade our goods and services. So you are in an industry, you are in a market where you know your competitors. That mark that you say is distinctive.
Mm-hmm.
Are you certain about that? If you are not certain about that, then the first thing you should do, which is not mandatory, is to do a search with the Ghana Industrial Property Office or the Trademark Registry. So there we'll conduct the search, and then if there is a similar mark on record, then we will inform you about that. If there isn't, we will also inform you. And at the end of the day, you still be the one to decide whether you still go ahead and want to protect that mark. So after that, which is optional, then you would fill our trademark form, which we call the TM Form 2. It is $240, but you can pay CD equivalents. Yes. We are talking about properties. This is intellectual property. You have created something which is so unique.
I understand
which is
the payment, but I'm a little lost about the dollars and converting it into cedis.
Okay.
Why not cedis?
Yes, so it is for easy calculation and all that. And though intellectual property is territorial, the standard is to use a currency, because it's not just Ghanaians who are also registering their marks in Ghana. But it's mostly standard for us to use. When you go to the world market, for instance, the basic denomination we use is the dollar. So you are entitled to pay the CD equivalent of that.
And actually you would find from their records that there are a lot more foreign applications for patents particularly. As for trademarks, maybe you may have more Ghanaian applications, but you find that there are a lot more foreign applications, or like people who are like, they are not businesses who started in Ghana, but they also registered their trademarks in Ghana. So it makes sense to put them
especially
in dollars.
when Ghana has signed the Madrid agreements. Madrid agreement is a system. The Madrid Protocol is a system by which trademarks are registered in member countries. Okay, so a Ghanaian, just like Council was saying, if I'm in the UK or the US, I don't have a business in Ghana, but these states are also parties to the Madrid Protocol. And so if the applicant interested in registering his trademark in Ghana, he is entitled to go through, file the application with their IP office, the Intellectual Property Office, and then it will be forwarded to the World Intellectual Property Organization, and then the application will be forwarded to our office in Ghana. That is if Ghana is designated, or which other member states for that matter.
Okay, so let me help. Let's break it down a bit. You know, so by the Madrid system, like is an international registration system or filing system. So it helps you to be able to file in several different countries by one application. So you put in one application because you state that I'm interested in registering a trademark in a number of countries, let's say 20 countries, depending on how big you are. Then you file just one application. The system is such that they will circulate that to all the countries that you have indicated that you are interested in registering your trademark there. Wow. The thing is that for trademarks or intellectual property, if you have not protected it in a country, you cannot enforce your rights in that country. And so if you feel that your brand is great, is huge, and you need to protect it in a number of countries, the Madrid system provides you the opportunity so that one application, you're able to process your application in several other countries, so long as they are all parties to the Madrid
protocol.
System.
So yes, and in one, just like you are saying, so this intellectual property is territorial. So some countries I know, for them, you do not need to file first with them before you can file with other countries. But most countries, first you would have to file what they call the basic mark or application before you are able to file with the countries who have also signed on to the Madrid Protocol.
Okay, so if I want to protect that intellectual property, I come to your office.
Yes.
I have it done. And I go through. This process is so easy that I can do it myself. I don't need a third party. I don't need a professional. I don't need a lawyer. I can do it by myself.
You can do it by yourself.
It's that straightforward.
Yes, that's our mandate. We are there to protect people's ideas and innovation and creativity.
So when someone walks into your office, there's a form, the person fills a form, and it's not very difficult.
We assist in all areas. Once you make us aware that you need help, we assist you. Okay. And so we help a lot of people to file, to first fill the form, and then they send it to our head office, Registrar General's Department, which is close to Tema Station, and then they do the payments there, and then they leave the form there as well. And later the form is brought back to our office, which is at Ridge, and that is where we start with the formality of the form. So we want to see if you have really filled the form in the way you should fill. Once we see maybe you didn't put in the class. So for trademarks, we have what we call the NIS classification. The goods and services have been given numbers, sort of. So there are 45 classes in there. And from 1 to 34 is for goods. Okay. And then 35 to 45 is for services of any kind. So that's how they've been categorized. So if we see that you didn't put in, for instance, the NIS classification, we would notify you to come to the office to provide us with that information. Yes. So we don't go ahead and just reject it just because we haven't met the formality bits.
You really help the person to really be up to date.
Quick one. The thing with the classification is that, so 1 to 45 classes, you can choose maybe one class. So the class is that maybe class 1 will be for a category of goods, class 2, class 3, that's how it is. So if it is, you are going to use your trademark to deal in agricultural products. You look at the list and you find where agricultural product is, and then you select. But you can say that you can select more than one. It's just that you pay a little more for each of the class that you choose. So, but just what I wanted to add is that you can go and do your own application. The office will assist you. But normally, where you may need the assistance of lawyers is particularly where there is an opposition, and then you have to go and they'll go through opposition proceedings. So let's say you put in your application, and then somebody opposes the application, it's published. Somebody opposes it and say that, this is too close to my mark, so the registrar of IP office should not register your trademark. And then you are supposed to go through a process for you to either justify, what you are saying, that no, this mark is different from yours. And that one, you would need the assistance of, you need some legal assistance, because you would have to really go and do justice to that.
So it's a procedure. So after the formalities, we will conduct a search and then see if there is a similar mark on record on our database. If there is, then the law says under Section 5 of the Trademarks Act that if there is a similar mark already on record, then it is a reason for us to refuse the application. Yes. So we'll conduct a search, and then after that we examine the substantive bits. So we are applying the law as it has been stated to it to see that it complies with the requirements of the law. Once we see that it does not infringe any of the provisions under the Act or the law, we go ahead and then accept it. So then we notify the applicant that the mark has been accepted, and that when we publish it, we will let them know again to come and pay for the certification, the certificates.
So you pay for the forms, then when it goes to you pay for certification.
But before you go to the certificates, you apply for the certificates. When we accept it, we publish it in our gazette.
Okay.
The law provides 2 months for interested third parties to oppose, to object if they think that the mark is too close to their marks or they have any other objections. They will state it in the form of giving notice, and then they will attach their statement to the notice. And then within 2 months after the notice is filed or in the registry, and then we serve it on the applicant. So you have an opponent here, the person objecting, and then you have the applicant. Then the applicant now also has 2 months within which to file their counter statement. And then after 2 months, when they have filed, a month after the counter statement has been filed, the law provides that any of the parties, either the opponent or the applicant, can put in a statutory declaration in a form of evidence. Okay, so we have started the opposition process then. Yes, then at the end of the day, the registrar will give a decision.
So she becomes a judge in a way.
Yes, and then after, if any of the parties has any objections to or feels that the decision was unfair or is unfair, can go to the courts.
Okay, so you appeal to the court, and then the courts can step in and have it done or otherwise.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
So the office is an arbiter, is objective in dealing with these matters.
So let's go for this short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Kumasi, Ghana, Africa, Europe, Asia, North America, South America, Australia. Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm so excited. From the 1st of October to the 7th of October, God is sending us to Kumasi, the Beulah Seventh-day Adventist Church, for a 1-week evangelistic series. We have captioned the price for the prize. Wherever you are in the world, I invite you to join us every evening 6:30 for us to study God's word together. Please look for Beulah Seventh-day Adventist Church on YouTube and on Facebook. Subscribe to their channel so that you get automatic response when we are about to start. Wherever you are in the world, you can join us every night. I look forward to meeting you. Jesus is coming again. Let us get ready. And I'm asking you to do one thing for me. pray for me, pray for the crew, pray for the team that God will bring some harvest home. Our textbook is going to be the Holy Bible. Make sure whenever you join us in the evenings, you come with your Bible. Kumasi, please let's meet at Beulah. Beulah is at Kwaraso Estate in Kumasi every evening from the 1st to the 7th of October. God richly bless you. I look forward to meeting you. Tell others, to tell others, to also tell others, so that a lot of people will God bless you.
As a small business owner, Mitaisha Business Forum, our Hope channel, it really helps me with my business.
Don't let your priorities be because obi eye bibinti. Also we share some why one kasa sawasa. So jani ni awidiani.
Okay.
Obiani ni dia so that ungofa a problem e.
In the first place, business a risk.
Okay.
It's just all about risk. Now pursue your business, so now you need you should be a risk taker.
Okay.
I would recommend it to you to Mesresa Usu Beshebi.
So we do know now that if you have your company, you want your company to really stand out and you are able to put that across, you have to protect that. You have to protect that. And if you have to protect that, the necessary forms are supposed to be picked up, you pay for it, they will go through the process. If it's accepted, good for you. If it's not accepted, it's rejected. And when it's accepted, they even have to gazette it. Gazetting means it goes into a kind of a newspaper, published. They publish it. Is it in a
bulletin.
They have a bulletin.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, is it in a newspaper or where?
No, we have it at the registry, the trademark registry. That is where we have on sale the journal. It's a journal. It's a trademark.
So if
journal.
I don't buy it, I'll not see it.
No. But then we can. Yes, we would inform you.
So let's say I'm a third party. I'm not. I know that it will infringe on my intellectual property, but if it's not in the newspaper, if it's not in any public real space, and it's in your bulletin, how do I see it? So I always have to buy a.
That's what the law provides, that we should at least publish it for the world to know in any form. Yes, maybe we may be considering going on the internet.
Yes, that would be great.
To do that, yes.
That would be great.
But for now, it's in our office.
Yeah. So it means that if you are a company and you really want to protect your things, their journal is one of the books you want to be updated with.
Yes.
So that if anything is going on, you know what's happening.
Yes.
Do you get the import of the whole thing? And yeah, it's a type of business is not easy. It's not just starting something in your house and eating. It's a whole big deal. So let's now look at data protection, Richard. What is data protection? How is it different from trademark? Let's look at some of.
All right, thank you. Well, data protection, the whole data protection regime stems from the constitutional right that we all have to the privacy of our, personal data. So, and so the Data Protection Act was enacted to ensure that there is a system in place that ensures that people don't take people's privacy for granted. And you know that in business, you collect a lot of data, sorry, employee data, employee information, information of customers, information of clients, information of other third parties. You engage service providers. Sometimes you give a whole bunch of personal information to the third party service provider. Let's say you run a payroll system. You give the details of your staff, their details, information to that service provider that services your accounting software and all that. So because of that, you know, people's data are out there in the hands of third parties. So this law is put in place. In fact, even before the Data Protection Act, people have the general right under the Constitution to the privacy of their information, personal data or personal information. So data protection regime, sorry.
So this is quite interesting.
Yes, so the data protection legal regime is to ensure that when people have collected your name, your telephone number, your address, your personal details, they don't deal with it in any way, so that it gets into the hands of people that can even use it for criminal purposes and all that. Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and
a trademark?
The trademark.
No, trademarks is your creation. It's your property rights that you have created. And so you go to protect your property. It's your creation. But your data, personal data, well, you did not create it, but it's you. It's more like you. It's an extension of yourself. And so the law protects your personal data. Data is information. So personal information relating to your name, your address, how people can find you and all that. So those ones are your information about yourself. But trademarks is your creation. It's a property.
Yeah.
And you have created it, and then you get
trademarks are identifiers. They are for identification of your goods or your services to distinguish yours from that of your competitors at the marketplace. So that is what trademark is about. It's for trading. So
the data is one of information about yourself. That has
your personal information. Yeah.
But why will a business want to have a data protection? Shouldn't that be on individual basis? Does that have to do anything to do with the company?
With the company, yes, with the company, because the company collects personal data or personal information from even customers, from depending on the nature of the business, from clients, like banks, for instance. You collect all kinds of personal data from your customers and all that, from even staff members. You know, so it's actually there's a regulatory regime. So there is a Data Protection Commission that ensures that when businesses have collected people's personal information, you keep it in a way that will not jeopardize, the interests of these persons that you have collected their information. You see, sometimes you are there and then you get all kinds of text messages.
Sure.
People selling products to you or services to you. You have not asked your telco, MTN, Vodafone, any of the telcos, Airtel, Tigo, you have not asked them to be sending you all these, but sometimes you are there and then you receive all kinds of things. Sometimes people want to give you a loan and they inundate, like you get all kinds of information. So the question is, how did your mobile phone number get into the hands of all these people? And then, so that is what the data protection legal framework seeks to do, to protect people's personal data. So it's a privacy issue. How it comes into business is that businesses collect people's personal data, and so they have to comply with the requirements of the Data Protection Act.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. So I think we are having a headway here, right? We are getting to understand it. So let me answer this question. I think lots of my viewers will have it in mind. Why should I protect my trademark? What's the need?
So we have said that for trademarks, you are using it as an identifier so that your products or your goods and services will stand out or will be distinct from that of your other competitors at the marketplace. Now, in a way, it gives you a reputation. Once people associate you to the trademark, then they have some reputation for the goods. they think about the quality, for instance, of the goods. They know that if I'm looking at the intended purpose for which they want to buy the goods, if they go to the markets, they know that this company has a good reputation for goods for this purpose. So then they will purchase that. Then we are looking at, so we've looked at quality, we've looked at the intended purpose.
To also prevent others from infringing.
Yes, infringing on your rights.
Because, if you don't protect it, others can use, because they know that there's something like your goods have reputation. They'll use similar signs and marks that are similar to your trademark. And so because you have not protected it, you can't do anything to them.
Yes, people will ride at the back of
your goodwill in a way.
Yes. So it's more of reputation, goodwill that you have, that you want to prevent others from riding on that reputation or goodwill.
Okay, so then that will take me to my next question. So I've registered it, and I'm known. So Apple, you understand? I'm known. I'm popular. Someone is also using Apple brand, Apple as in the same line, laptops, Mac. What can I do? I've registered it, but then someone is infringing on it. What do I do?
Yeah, so once it's beyond the period of opposition, at best you would have to go to the courts. And if it comes to, let's say, importation of the goods, then the customs will be the best persons to deal with the piracy issue.
Okay, so if you are importing the thing,
yes,
it's customs.
Because it will go through
customs. Okay.
Yes,
if it's within Ghana, then you will have to go to the courts.
And even with the importation, you will still have to deal with it in the courts. Then it becomes a criminal matter.
So your office doesn't have any real powers to enforce that before going to the courts. Courts being the last resort.
Okay, so another thing is for you to maybe file. No, so this one you have registered it. If it had been that the opposition period has really passed, but the person has not used the Mark II for, let's say, 5 years, for more than 5 years, then you can put in an application for the removal of the mark, because the law makes provision that if the mark has not been used for a period of 5 years, then you can apply for the mark to be removed. And once you succeed in that, then you may put in an application for your mark to be registered, and then we'll go through the process we go through to examine it. And
you were asking what the office can do, but as for the office, so they are there to help you to protect it. But when it comes to enforcing your right, it's like you bought a parcel of land. You have registered it at the Lands Commission. That's all they do. They help you to protect it. But when somebody is infringing on it, somebody is coming into your territory, your terrain, then you have to you own it. Somebody is trying to take it from you. Then you have to go to court, or sometimes it will be good to first write to the people to warn them about the fact that you have a trademark and that you want them to stop doing that. Or you can go to court straight, because it's your property. Somebody is taking it away from you. You have to protect it yourself.
Because I always have, I think this, maybe it's my own idea, that the courts should always be the last resort, because and they're always burdened. So if we can have administrative structures that can deal with these issues, so that when it doesn't really hold, then the courts will be the last resort. So in the Act, we don't have anything of that sort that would, where such.
I think sometimes we have, for instance, like the police coming to us to find out if a particular mark which a proprietor thinks that it belongs to him and some other person is infringing upon it, comes to do a search to find out if indeed there is anything like that. And I believe that with that, between the parties, they may be able to resolve it from there.
A consensus. So will you tell, so your agency is solely in charge, no other agency?
No other agency when it comes to industrial property.
Industrial property. So those people who will tell, I have a friend who told me that I've registered it and I registered it online. Is it possible?
Maybe it's some other registration, but not industrial property.
So Joe, it's not industrial property,
trademark
please.
Registration.
Go and check again. Go and check again. So now you've actually, I'm very enlightened. Thank you so much. I'm so enlightened. So I've protected it. I'm good to go. Right.
Yes.
Anyone who comes in, I can go to court and go and ensure that it's my right. But what if someone really tells me that your structures are a little bit cumbersome? What will you say to that person? Because you hear people saying it's so difficult to register. The structures are really. Will you really go ahead with the person? Will you agree with the person?
From where I sit, this is how I see it. Our office is very flexible when it comes to these matters. Yes, we may be having some challenges. For instance, we had backlog, which we have tried to clear all of them now. But there are still some that letters were written. The applicants involved didn't respond to it. We take it upon ourselves to remind them again. We still give them time. We've talked about opposition, for instance. The law gives 2 months, but you find interested parties would wait till the last day or the last but one day and bring an application for extension of time, which is discretionary. And when it happens, it prolongs. And the same people go back and say that the delays are coming from us. So these are some of the things, the reality about that. And some others too, they don't give the correct addresses. So then when we write correspondences to them, they don't seem to receive the notices or the information that we have sent out to them. So these are some, but on our part, we do everything within our power, because we have set targets in each day, what you are supposed to do in the IP office to avoid delays and all this manner of issues we are talking about.
All right. So Stella wants to ask a question. She says that are there some trademarks that cannot be protected, that cannot be registered?
Yes. Once the mark is not distinctive, like we are saying, it's not unique. I've talked about descriptive marks. I've talked about generic marks. Also, the marks also says that if it's against public policy or immorality, you cannot trademark it. If they are signs or insignia of certain states or international agencies, you cannot trademark it. If it's a trade name, you cannot protect it as your mark, because trademarks are supposed to be used to trade, to distinguish your goods and services from that of the others at the marketplace. So what makes yours distinct from others? If you are using things that are common to all of us, then it is not unique. You cannot be awarded for something which is not creative or innovative. It's as simple as that.
That's true. Richard, what would you want to add to it?
Oh yeah, I think earlier we were talking about deceptive marks.
Yes.
So if your mark, what you are trying to register, has the potential of deceiving the consuming public as to the source, that is where you are registering something that is close, that is very similar or close, identical to an existing mark, or identical to something that would deceive the public as to the source, then that one it may be refused by the registry.
It would be refused because it says that under the Section 5 of the Trademarks Act, if it's misleading,
Yeah.
if it's not distinctive, if it lacks distinctiveness, if it's a trade name, if it's against public policy or morality, it will not pass. If it's similar to another mark on our database, it will not be ready.
Yeah.
It cannot be registered. If it's a geographical indication, so we know about champagne, for instance, that it's manufactured in the Champagne region in France. So if you are also coming to register alcoholic drink or minerals under class 30, 33 or 32 of the NIS classification, then it will give some impression to the public that it is coming from that region. So then it means it has some qualities, which may not necessarily be the case. So then we cannot protect that for you as well.
Or it is identical or confusingly similar to a well-known mark. So under the law,
which is on the database.
So the well-known mark, the way they put it under the section 5, it suggests that if it's a well-known mark, then it's like they don't need to be on our national database.
You only stop at well-known, but then it says that when you read, it says that it must be on the database. Yes.
Okay.
So we are talking about
not on the database.
The mark can be well-known, but then we are looking at territoriality or jurisdiction. Is it well-known to consumers in Ghana?
If it's not,
then you cannot succeed.
Sylvia's question is long. I'll try and summarize it. What she's saying, she's asking, she has such intellectual property. She indeed registered it. She went through the whole process, and then it got stuck somewhere. She's been trying to follow up, and it's not working. In a nutshell, that's what she's saying. That she's stuck.
Intellectual property. So it could be maybe talking about copyrights, maybe music or something which has not got to do with industrial property or trademark. Trademark is a form of intellectual property.
One of them.
Is one of them.
So let's say, for example, it is your. She wasn't very definite, but let's say it's trademark, industrial trademark, and it's stuck somewhere. What can she do?
She should come to the trademark registry. And then with the reference number, the application number which has been given her, that is if indeed she was notified of the receipt, acknowledgement of the application, then we can use that one to trace the file, and then we can take it from there and deal with it.
And she will not pay?
No. No. There's no payment for.
All right. Lydia, she says she loves the information so far, and she's grateful for the what? Hey, word can she say? She's grateful. That's all. So, Rachel, let me start from you. What would be your advice to the general public, especially those who are into business, those who have the idea of starting a business or they are already in it? Or you got advice in terms of trademarks?
Okay, thank you. Yes, for earlier you were talking about the cost and all that. Compared to the value that your trademark will give you, the costs, you have to find a way to raise the money to protect your intellectual property. What people do is that if you really trust your mark and how well the potential it has, you can have some engagement or some discussion with some people who are like-minded and they want to support, so you can get some support to get your trademarks registered, even if you have to pay it later. But it's so important, because by the time your business will be on that high level or pedestal, that you realize that you had not protected your rights, and then now everything is getting out of your hand. It will be unfortunate, but it may be late at the time. you know, I give this example, like the screen touch technology is patent, but just for you to see how valuable and the industrial property rights can be. Everybody, they all deploy screen touch on tablets, on this, on even television, on all kinds of screens. So it means that the person that created it, the value is huge, is so much. Look at all these things, like when you go to the market, you go and actually buy a trademark. So that's the value there. So compared to the value, I think the cost, you should find a way to raise it. So it's important. It's like you have bought your land. You will not sit for somebody to come and build on your land. You will take action. But if you have not protected your land, you have not registered it, then if somebody comes, on what basis are you going to fight the person? So I think it's very important. As for the data protection, is now a legal, is a requirement. The Data Protection Commission is going after organizations. And so organizations must really sit up and get to register with the Data Protection Commission once you process people's personal data. So if you're a business, you have a database of your customers and information about your clients and information about even staff, you see. So you need to take steps to register with the Data Protection Commission. You find a lot of information about the Data Protection Commission online, and then even steps how you register. You can do even the registration online. And then, yeah, it will,
Right.
yeah.
Kinsley, you say, good evening, my sister. How are you doing? Oh, Kinsley, you are doing well by God's grace. He says, I'm watching you live from my small village. Oh. I'm enjoying the discussions. God bless your team. You are looking good. Hey, we are looking good. So he's enjoying it, and we are grateful. Isaac Akins is also saying he's enjoying us. And hey, go for sure. Anyway, so Tina, your final words. What will you be advice to business?
So in addition to what he was saying at first, trademarks are assets to your company. And so in actual fact, you can receive a reward for the investments that you have made in it. So you can actually decide to license the trademark, just like KFC, McDonald's and all that. They give the licenses to others to use their mark to sell to the public. You can also assign the mark. You can sell it, just like you do with your landed property, as you have said. Yes.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
In fact, depending on how valuable it is that you can show, you can actually get a loan and use it as collateral. If you have a registered trademark or you have a registered, if your brand is great, you can, I mean, the banks can rely on that to give you loan and use that as part of the collateral. Because it's a great brand. People do franchising. You may not have the money, or like you may not be willing to set up all around, but you can give franchise to somebody to run your setup, you know, a similar setup in other places in the country, or even in other countries. Exactly. You know, so that's how powerful a trademark is. Yeah.
It's not just like we have limited ourselves to trademarks. But if we had gone into patents, for instance, and intellectual property, you would also see the benefits in there for us. New medicines coming up. When we had COVID, you saw what happened. We're using Veronica buckets. It was somebody's creation and all that. So she could have also gained some returns from it for the investment.
She had protected it, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So what are you doing? How are you protecting your business? Are you even thinking of protecting it, or you're just doing some? Charlie, I think it's about time. If you are doing it, you might as well do it well. If it has to be done, it has to be done well. So don't, we've talked about starting your business. We've talked about the agreements you need. We talked about alternative dispute resolution, we talk about confidential agreements and all that. Today we've spoken to you about how to protect your intellectual property. The time where you think and you don't get money for it, it's over. When you think and you have it down, you can protect it. And as we said, after protecting it in terms of your business, you can even sell it to someone else. So what are you waiting for? Please do well to go to Tina's office and register. If you go there having difficulties, just say, I'm looking for Tina.
That's
You
it.
see, just say I'm looking for Tina, and Tina will help you
I'll
so
sort
much to
you
do
out.
that. She will sort you out. She'll sort you out. So next week we'll be doing another topic, and this time we'll be looking at tax issues. You see, you started a business. You're about to start a business. You will be paying tax. How much will you be paying? Where? How? If you are in breach, you don't pay taxes, what are the consequences? We'll be discussing all that next week. So until next week, please take care, and let's pray and hope that God will do something wonderful for us within the week. Amen.
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 Until next week, please stay safe.